Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm IWN. This is your AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash 2022 review. Thank you guys for joining me on this December the 29th, 2022, Thursday afternoon. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. Let's get a lot of likes on the stream minimum for today's New Year's Smash review. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram. You can add me on Snapchat as well. The links to my Instagram, Facebook accounts are in the description below. Again, subscribe to the channel if you do. Hit the thumbs up. We are still on the road to 600 subscribers. We are currently at 532 right now. So if we can get up to 600 subscribers, I may do something special for you guys on the channel. Possibly. If you guys missed all the other content I have on the channel from last week, go check it out. My Monday Night Raw review from last week is there. My AEW Dynamite review from last week is there, as well as my SmackDown Rampage reviews combined. They're there. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get to the Dynamite review. As fast as I can, so that way you guys do the AEW Thursday afternoon and be done with the stream, with the review here. So, Escalibur, Taz, and Tony Schiavone opened the show at the commentary table. Bryan Danielson's music hit. He headed to the ring for the opening match. This was an incredible match, by the way. Escalibur explained how Bryan Danielson called out MJF last week. Holloway wore an AEW baseball hat after both men were in the ring. MJF's music hit, and he was shown with a woman in his luxury box. He told Bryan that he found the only hot chick in Colorado, and Ethan Page jumped him from behind. So we got Bryan Danielson versus Ethan Page. An asshole chant rang out for MJF as Ethan Page, which is assault. Page choked Bryan Danielson in the corner with his boot and sent Bryan to the opposite corner. Bryan flipped out of the corner, landed a flying elbow strike to take over. He then landed a mix of kicks and chops. Page landed a chop of his own and brought Bryan to his knees and followed up with another. Bryan turned fire with kicks in the corner, followed by a knee lift. Danielson stomped on the back of Page's knees and then stomped on the Achilles tendon on his left leg. He followed up with more kicks. Page was able to catch Bryan with a blow coming off the ropes. Page paced Bryan on the top turnbuckle and landed some strikes. He then lined up for a superplex. But Bryan landed a headbutt and pretty much sent him back into the ring. Bryan came off the top rope, landed a shotgun drop kick, and kicked up. Holloway got up on the apron. Bryan flipped his hat off. Page tried to surprise Bryan from behind, but Bryan sent him to the floor. And then he followed up with a dive through the ropes. Holloway distracted Bryan as he got back into the ring, and Page sent him back to the floor with a running forearm strike. By the way, guys, don't forget to have on your notifications and turn on the notify me button anytime watch along the reviews, so you'll get to win these reviews and watch along go live. And if you guys haven't checked out my NXT review this week, you haven't checked out my AEW Tuesday afternoon news live stream, go check it out now and get those a thumbs up and a comment. I really appreciate it. Your comment, your likes, and your support helps out the channel a long way going forward. Anyways, as I was saying, Holloway got up on the apron. Bryan flipped his hat off. Page tried to surprise Bryan from behind. Bryan sent him to the floor. He followed up with a dive through the ropes. Holloway distracted Bryan as he got the ring. And Page sent him back to the floor with a running forearm strike. Page controlled the action during the break, focused on strikes to the head. Bryan reversed a vertical suplex, landed a German suplex of his own. Both men struggled to their feet, then traded uppercuts and forearms. Page raked the eyes of Bryan, but he fired back with kicks and chops. He then placed Page on the top rope, pulled him back into the ring with a Hurricane Rana. Page landed a series of kicks, but couldn't connect with the final one to the head. Bryan low-bridged Page out to the floor. He attempted a flying knee strike, but Stuckley kind of moved him out of the way. Page then sent him into the ring steps and power slammed him onto the floor on the outside. He then sent Bryan into the ring and landed a cutter for a near fall. Page went for another power slam into the ring, but Bryan countered into a float over DT. He then followed up with a kick to the head for a close near fall. Bryan Danielson transitioned into the label lock, but Page was able to get his leg over to the ropes. Bryan continued to sell his head as the announcers questioned whether his concussion history was a weakness. Danielson went to the top rope, but Page met him there. He wanted an eagle's edge, but settled for an avalanche power slam for a close up. Page struggled to his feet, pulled Bryan for an eagle's edge. Bryan slipped out, landed a running knee. He then stomped on the head of Page, applied the Ringo stretch, and Page was already passed out at that point after that. So after the match, Danielson pointed and stared at MF, who didn't react. We had got Samoa Joe versus Wardlow later on in the show. We're going to go that in a bit. They played a video package for that match focused on their brief team together. Samoa Joe said he took his notes, but Joe doesn't think Wardlow did his homework. Backstage, Renee interviewed Wardlow, who said there had already been too much talk and not enough action, pretty much. And while Samoa Joe appeared and hit Wardlow in the knee, what looked like an pretty much a aluminum toe of some sort. I don't know. Trainers attend to Wardlow at that point. You know, I'm not a huge fan of concussion angles. I'm really not. Head trauma being used as weakness. You know, I'm pretty sure some of you guys fear for what that means for the rest of the story with MJF. Now, with that being said, Page and Bryan put on a very, very great performance in their match and absolutely deserve praise for it. I think MJF's appearance in the luxury box was a bit super flawless. And I guess I don't want to use the word unnecessary, but that's how I feel about it. But MJF is one of the greatest professional wrestlers that AEW has right now. I mean, he's a good promo cutter. He has a good gimmick going for him. I mean, this wasn't really too much of a distraction, thankfully. Thankfully, it wasn't. Because if it was, yeah, if it was a distraction, it would have obviously turned into a problem. It would have obviously turned into an issue. You don't want to be distracted. Never want to in a match. That caliber. You know what I'm saying? So, Bryan Danielson versus Ethan Page. It was great for what it was. Okay. It pretty much highlighted Page as a credible contender while ultimately putting Danielson over on his road to a world title match with MJF. Not to mention, Ethan Page suffered the biggest loss of his career over Bryan Danielson. I'm sure Bryan Danielson was laughing after he won. But Danielson's history of head and neck injuries is useful in that he can either sell of those body parts and fans immediately buy into it. Such was the case here. If history is any indication, it will come up again, presumably in the match with the World Championship. Kudos to Danielson for using the wrinkle stretch in an ode to his mentor. He was paying the homage to his mentor pretty much. The legendary competitor who was attacked by MJF just a few weeks ago. Now, backstage, Hangman Page, backstage being attended to by AEW doctors while Dark Order members stood by. Renee Young asked him for a status update, and it's week to week, and he doesn't have any good answers. She asked if he was interested in the next match featuring Moxley. He stood right up to go. He was calmed down by John Silver. The AEW doctor said he could get back in the ring in 2 weeks if he can keep himself from another setback, which perfectly aligns with the upcoming show in Los Angeles. Again, I'm not a fan of concussion stories. You know, I hate to say this, but I don't think no one is just dumb because, nobody bought the idea that this guy is continuously brought back to arenas every week in the concussion protocol when he's attacked Moxley multiple times. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got to say to that. But Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli made their way out of the next match. They were then followed by Top Flight, Dante and Darius Martin. Top Flight attacked Moxley and Claudio for the bell, but it backfired immediately. We got Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli versus Top Flights, Dante and Darius Martin. Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli delivered punishment to Darius and finally took off his zip-up shirt, pretty much. His zip-up sweatshirt. Claudio landed a body slam, tagged into Moxley, who entered and kicked Darius in the gut. Darius managed to make a quick tag to Dante after breaking free, and he cleared Claudio from the apron, landed a springboard moonsault onto Moxley. Moxley turned things around quickly with his power offense and delivered some elbow shots to Dante. Darius jumped into the ring, landed a chop block to Moxley's knee. Darius worked over the knee of Moxley during the break. Moxley fired back with a vertical suplex toss and made the tag to Claudio. He entered the match, took out Dante with a series of European uppercuts and a double leg dropkick for a near fall. Top Flight managed to pull back into the match with a double team tornado DDT onto Claudio for a near fall. Now there was a tag to Darius and they went for a double suplex. Claudio reversed, brought both of them over. They landed a sequence of super kicks and a flying STO. Moxley sent Dante into the pinfall attempt to break it up. Moxley sold his knee and was cleared from the ring. Claudio ate a double super kick. Dante dove on Moxley on the floor. Darius landed a standing Spanish fly for a near fall. Claudio went for an uppercut, and Darius slipped out. Then landed a neutralizer. Darius kicked out for a good near fall. Claudio was stunned and questioned the referee. He then landed some elbows. Dante tried to break it up, but Claudio won't budge. Moxley came back in, landed a King Kong lariat on Dante. He then took him to the floor and landed a double arm DDT on the floor. Darius fired back at Claudio with a hard punch. Claudio then uncorked a huge uppercut and got the win. After the match, Claudio and Moxley held up their arms in victory. Moxley mouthed to the camera that anybody else who has a problem can come get knocked out too. Excalibur said they were still waiting on a medical update on Wardlow. Some footage was shown of Orange Cassidy and Kip Sabian from last week. Backstage, Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford were standing opposite of best friends. They were. Kip rambled on with some nonsense and said he deserved a title shot for eliminating Cassidy last week. Trent said by that logic, he deserves a title shot because he eliminated Kip. Cassidy agreed with that and said Trent gets a title shot before Kip, and it'll happen on Rampage. In the arena, Hook made his ring entrance for the next match. The Baylum Lynx was already in the ring. Baylum Lynx was already in the ring. FTW Championship, or should I say FTW Champion Hook. I didn't mean to say FTW Championship. But it was on the line. Hook defended it against Baylum Lynx. It was a squash match pretty much. Is it me or am I the only one that's noticing the fact that Hook's title matches are booked the same way as Jay Cargill's TBS title matches on TV? I'm just Hook went on off immediately and landed some hard shots, followed by a judo throw. He then landed an overhead suplex and applied red rum for a quick tap out victory. That was it. They are just wasting Hook on TV. That FTW, you might as well say that FTW Championship and Hook himself, you might as well don't mean shit at this point. Because they don't know what the fuck they're doing with Hook, man. They really don't. They really don't, man. Now, after the match, Stuck the other way walked with W. Marcy and Lee Mariani. He told Hook that his dad likes to talk about how much of a badass he is. But in reality, he's Southwest Airlines of AEW. Jungle Boy Jack Perry ran down and took out Mariani. Hook had a comical stare down. He had a comical stare down with Big Bill. Hook went for a T-bone suplex, but Bill stuffed it. Bill set up for a big choke slam, but Jungle Boy smashed Bill. He then hit him a couple more times. It missed a shot to the head to clear him from the ring. Excalibur threw to a video package that recapped Chris Jericho's embarrassing couple of weeks. Backstage, Jericho told Ricky Starks that he turned down the invitation of a lifetime, chose to mock them as jobbers, and Shulis instead. I may have not pronounced that right, but whatever. Jericho called Starks a flash in the pan and arrogant. He said he doesn't have all the tools to be a star. And next week, he would take him to the top of the mountain and back. He then told Ricky to check on his pal, Action Andrade, who took a fireball to the face. Jericho told Andrade to stay on the indies and told Starks he would end his experiment next week. So we got the Elite versus Death Triangle. Now, my thoughts on this Claudio Castagnoli Moxley Top Flight match. You know, the match between the Blackpool Combat Club and Top Flight. My take, honestly, they really decided to cram in the content in between breaks here. The Moxley and Claudio match with Top Flight was very good. It seemed like it was the beginning of a double turn, perhaps, with Moxley and Claudio showing frustration and heel tendencies while Top Flight attacked before the bell. They came across like plunky underdogs. The Hook and Jungle Boy thing is defiantly working, I guess, for the Tiger Beat demographic. Swerve Strickland and his athletes stood backstage. Swerve and his affiliates stood backstage. I meant to say affiliates, sorry. Renee called his actions despicable. And Swerve responded that Keith Lee just didn't believe in his vision. Swerve said everybody knows Parker Boudreaux, but we'll know more about this guy real soon. Well, Yuta walked up and happened. If he wanted to get violent, he should beat him in the ring. Swerve said, say less, and the match was on. A falls count anywhere between the Elite and Death Triangle was joined in progress in the backstage area. We had the Elites, Kenny Omega, Nick Jackson, and Matt Jackson with Brandon Cutler, Michael Nakazawa versus Death Triangle's Pac, Penta El Zero Miedo, Rey Fenix, with Alex Aprehendes in a falls count match, 6 match of the best of 7 series for the AEW Trios. I wonder what the seventh match of 7 series is going to, where it's going to take place. I don't know. This might not be this match. We'll have to find out next week whether this is the last match or not. Whether they'll book the 7th match, the last one. Was sat in on commentary. Chaos reigned backstage. Pac suplexed Kenny Omega onto some wooden pallets. Phoenix dove on the Young Bucks from a pile of stadium risers. Nick fired back with a dive off the risers onto Penta through a table for a near fall. It was hour 2 of AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash last night, and Pac and Nick Jackson spilled into the production area backstage and then up the stairs into the arena. Nick Jackson, Penta were right there as well. Rey Fenix appeared on top of the stage. The Bucks landed super kicks to Pac and Penta. Phoenix dove onto everybody below with a tornillo. Omega then flew in out of nowhere with a V trigger, but for some didn't make a cover. He then tried to pick up Pac, but it was rejected, and Omega got German suplexed onto the stage. Matt Jackson had to break it up. Pac and Matt traded punches. Matt then pulled in Pac for downhill Northern Light suplexes. Nick Jackson flew over Matt to line him. Matt landed a double Northern Lights onto Phoenix and Penta for a near fall, which was brilliant, which looked cool, by the way. In the ring, Pac placed a trash can over Omega's head and delivered a triple drop kick to the can for a near fall. Phoenix kept Omega isolated by knocking the Bucks from the apron. The Elite made a rapid comeback with a series of strikes from Omega and Nick Jackson. Omega placed the trash can on the hip of Pac, delivered a V-trigger knee to it. Omega then picked up Pac, delivered Dr. Bomb on the trash can for a close near fall. Omega then set up for the one-winged angle, and Penta pulled him down and out of the ring. The Lucha Bros then delivered the assisted Fear Factor power driver on the floor. The Bucks were able to break it up. They were able to break up the fall on the floor. Phoenix took out everybody with a Hurricane Rana, a cutter, and a dive to the floor onto Omega and Nakazawa. Penta attempt a Fear Factor on Nick Jackson on the apron. Nick reversed out of it. Matt Jackson picked up Penta. He and Nick delivered an assisted tombstone out of the floor. Pac had to break it up. They had to break it up with a kick. Pac set up Matt Jackson for a black arrow, but Matt moved out of the way. Nick tossed a chair into Pac's face, and then they delivered a BTE trigger to Penta, Pac able to recover and break up the pinfall again. The Bucks set up for another tombstone, but Pac knocked Nick from the apron. He then applied a brutalizer on Matt Jackson. Elsewhere, Kenny landed a one-ringed angle on Phoenix through a set of tables set up somewhere in the crowd. So Kenny covered and got the 3 count before Matt Jackson tapped out in the brutalizer. So we then got a music video from the Acclaimed. It was really, really good. Matt Caster's flow was really good on this one. The Acclaimed, Matt Caster, and F.D. Bowens were calling Jeff Jarrett a carny who steals money like he stole Kurt Angle's wife. They also told Jay Lethal he's best known for emanating other people and that Matt Caster's elbow is better than his. They settled by saying they put their Lethal and Jarrett's chin bone. Back in the arena, Tay Mello and Anna Jay made their entrance as Tay J AS. They were followed by Willow Nightingale and Ruby Soho. So we got Ruby Soho and Willow Nightingale versus Tay J AS. For Jericho's Appreciation Societies, Tay Mello and Anna Jay. So Willow dumped Tay Mello into the mat, then taunted her. Ruby tagged herself in, which Willow didn't seem to like. She attacked Tay Mello, and Anna quickly tagged herself in. Ruby took down Anna and landed rapid fire right hands to the head. Ruby and Willow made some rapid tags, and they landed some double team offense. Ruby had made it obvious that she doesn't want to tag out of the match. Mello snuck down the ring, pulled Ruby the apron. Anna then took over on Willow and sent her into the turnbuckle. She then landed some back elbows in the corner, tagged Tay into the match. My thoughts on the Elite versus Death Triangle before we continue on reading with what went down with this 2-on-2 women's tag team match between the team of Willow Nightingale, Ruby Soho, and Tay J's, Anna Jay, and Tay Conti. I just want to put out there that the Elite versus Death Triangle was very, very, very incredible, very fantastic, very, very great match. There was almost no selling, and all the typical stylistic issues that grew out of that, at least, was Toronto format and the chaos played into the cleaver finish. Pac remains the MVP of the series as his facial expressions and timing have outclassed everybody else. So that's my thoughts on that match. Willow landed a lariat on Anna to get a break in the match. Ruby and Tay Melo tagged in. Ruby finally got the matchup she wanted. She landed a series of forearms to the face, then drove her face first into the second turnbuckle with her knees. Anna caused a distraction. Ruby was able to land no future on Tay Melo for a near fall. Willow delivered a lariat to Anna. Tay took her out with a pump kick. Joe versus Wardlow was still on and will be happening in the main event, said Terry Dean last night. Willow landed a lariat and a kick to Tay, and Ruby landed a back suplex. Anna broke up the cover. Tay managed to land a DDT on Ruby, but Willow shoved Anna into the crowd, or into the cover to break it up. Willow took Anna to the floor and at a DDT. Ruby and Tay traded headbutts and both women collapsed. Ruby landed on her for a near fall. There was a lot of clumsiness involving chairs. Anna tried to hit Willow with a chair on the floor. The referee stole the chair away. Tay managed to grab the chair, tossed it to Ruby so she could land a pump kick. She then landed the Tay KO and got the win. Now, this was not always the prettiest match, but it showed Soho's obsession with Melo and how it threatened her partnership with Nightingale. She was so hell-bent on getting her hands on the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt that she nearly created a schism within her own team. It also continued the feud. Some may take issue with that, but the women's division on AEW has been so underutilized that booking a program away from the title is a welcome change. Now, Soho versus Melo is the end game. Sure, the presence of Jay and Nightingale allows for different matchups until we get to that final showdown. Melo, Jay, and Nightingale are the future of the women's division. The more reaps they get in front of cameras in high-profile situations will only serve to make them better all-around performers. Now, Ruby could be a good opponent for Jamie Hayter if they get her some solid victories on TV. All right. And it's probably worth forestalling Ruby's revenge victory over Tay Melo. Obviously. I could see Ruby Soho being Jamie Hayter's next opponent for her AEW World Women's Championship going forward. Very, very soon. Samoa Joe made his entrance for the main event. Tony Schiavone said he was unable to get an update on Wardlow, other than he wasn't 100%. Wardlow's music hit. He didn't immediately appear. Joe got on the mic and announced himself as the one true king of television, that Wardlow is suffering from a bit of stage fright. Joe said he offered to have Wardlow eventually hobbled out and started the brawl with Joe. Joe was the one that attacked Wardlow from behind backstage and injured him. In case you guys didn't know, this was a TNT Championship title match. Wardlow landed a spine buster early on after landing a flurry of strikes. Joe was dazed, and Wardlow picked him up, slapped him across the face. He then slapped his knee to try and get some feeling back. Wardlow charged into the corner. Joe caught him with a Uranagi out of the corner. He then landed a few more right hands, but Wardlow fired back and cut him down with a lariat. Joe recovered and managed to pick up Wardlow and deliver a knee breaker. Wardlow and Joe brawled wildly during the break. Joe wrapping Wardlow's bad knee around the on it. Wardlow eventually spilled to ringside and was forced to recover and beat a pin out. Back to the Joe continued to kick and stomp the knee by a leg grapevine. He then drove his elbow into the knee while he had it tripped. Well, he had it trapped, pretty much. Joe placed Wardlow on the top rope and climbed up with him. Wardlow managed to battle back and shove Joe into the ring. So then he followed up with a swanton, but was unable to make a cover due to the pain. He then landed some German suplexes and continued to grab at the bad leg. He continued to grab at the bad leg, and when he did, he even landed a somersault senton, landed poorly on his knee. Wardlow continued the presence with a headbutt and a big lariat for a near fall. Joe managed to land a strike to the inside of Wardlow's knee to slow him down. He then kicked him in the chest and chopped him in the corner. Joe placed Wardlow on the top rope, but slipped underneath and delivered a powerbomb to Joe. He lined up for another powerbomb, but his knee gave up. It gave out when he tried to pick him up. Joe capitalized with another chop block and applied the coquina clutch. Wardlow passed out. Match was over. After the match, Joe held up his championships, and Wardlow realized he lost. He turned toward Joe, who blasted him immediately with the TNT title belt. He then pulled a toolbox from underneath the ring, but couldn't find what he wanted, and then went back to grab some scissors. Referee Paul Turner tried to stop him, got headbutted by Joe, who then cut off Wardlow's ponytail, waved it to the crowd. Darby Allin's music hits. Joe looked towards the ramp. He snuck up behind Joe, blasted him with his skateboard. Darby then got the TNT title belt, held it to close the show. It was a match between Joe and Wardlow with a predictable outcome due to the attack earlier in the show. Now, will we see a triple threat match between these three eventually? Maybe so. There was a lot of quality in-ring action on the show. The 2 hours went by pretty quickly. The booking still isn't always great, but the AEW talent showed out when they get the opportunity. So, that's going to do it for your AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash 2022 review, guys. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on that bell for all notifications. So that way, you'll be notified on when I go live with a single watch along and review. They go live each and every single week. Also, links to all my accounts in the description below. I got a lot of shit planned for this weekend, man. Gonna be doing a lot. Now, tomorrow, I'll be live with the Friday Night SmackDown AEW Rampage New Year's Smash December the 30th, 2022 watch along. And then I'll be live with the Thursday SmackDown AEW Rampage New Year's Eve review this Saturday. Before this Friday SmackDown AEW Rampage New Year's Smash watch along, I'll be streaming Xenoverse 2. I'll be streaming that DLC on the game with Gavin 1, Gavin 2, and Gohan. And also, after your SmackDown and Rampage review this Saturday, I'll be giving you guys your AEW Saturday news. I'll be announcing all the new PS4 games that I'll be buying next year. And I'll be streaming the new game that's called Stickman Warriors Legends Fight on YouTube to close the Saturday evening. And I'll be streaming one of the many brand new Dragon Ball games on the laptop, and that is Legendary Warriors Battle of G. Yes, I already have it scheduled for Sunday, January the 1st, 2022. Then I'll be streaming Star Wars Episode 1 Racer live on YouTube. Hopefully the quality won't bluff out and act up, which I imagine it probably will. Wish we had a better freaking router, to be honest. I really do. But this one ain't getting it. And I'll be live with the New Year's Day lunch along. We're going to be celebrating New Year's together. That's going to be great. And I'm going to be posting next week's schedule this Saturday. So, that's all I got to tell you guys for now. I will be right back. We're going to go on a 1-2 minute break, and then when I come back, I'm going to give you guys your AEW Thursday afternoon news, and then that'll be it for today. So, stay tuned, because your AEW Thursday afternoon news is coming up next here on the AEW YouTube channel. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in about 2 minutes. I just need a break. I just need a 2-minute break, and I'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back from my 2-minute break. It's time for me to go over your WWE and the AEW Thursday afternoon news with you guys. So we're going to start with the news on Tony Schiavone. We're going to start with the news on him. This is your WWE Thursday news that I'm going over right now. Then after that, we'll go over your Thursday AEW afternoon news. Again, my camera's been acting up all week, guys. Excuse me. Excuse me for that. My camera's been up all week. Tony Schiavone says WWE entrances are more spectacular than the in-ring action. AEW commentator Tony Schiavone firmly believes that WWE knows how to amuse its viewers when pulling on a performance. However, he also wonders whether WWE is forcing too much on presentation and not enough on the pro wrestling itself. Tony Schiavone recently appeared on the WHW podcast where he admitted that WrestleMania events are amazing to witness. It's an unbelievable production that they continue each year, with the exception of the pandemic. Of course, they continue each and every year to top themselves with the presentation. And quote. Today, Tony Schiavone was asked if AEW was more interested in match quality, while WWE was more focused on production values. He responded by admitting he doesn't follow the current WWE shows, but recalled his thoughts when he started watching wrestling again in 2017 after a 14-year absence. He goes on to say, and I quote, that on a regular television show, the interest has become so spectacular with the WWE that it's almost like the entrance is better than the match sometimes, and I don't think it should be. That's what Tony Schiavone says. Then he goes on to say, now the exception is WrestleMania, because this is WrestleMania. They do some great camera work. End quote. Tony Schiavone claimed that surely he prefers excellent wrestling bouts more than fantastic entrances. What do y'all think of the story? Charlotte Flair apparently struggled with Becky Lynch's success. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. But it says here that Charlotte Flair's booking in WWE was once one of the most controversial topics in the company, as fans were absolutely tired of seeing her in the main event title picture all the time. Despite her success, Charlotte allegedly struggled when dealing with Becky Lynch's rise to the top of WWE. Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch were formerly close friends, and that is no secret. Things between the two have apparently deteriorated over the years, owing to a promo Becky Lynch cut years ago in which she referred to Charlotte Flair as plastic. On the October 22nd, 2021 episode of SmackDown, Charlotte allegedly declined to join in a choreographic tug of war with the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. The incident left Becky Lynch visibly furious. The two reportedly got heat backstage. Nothing physical happened. Lynch's ex-boyfriend, Jeff, recently appeared on Wrestling with Freddie and discussed Charlotte and Lynch's turbulent relationship. This is what he said, and I quote, I think it's like comedy or some show business. He said, I think it's like comedy or show business, or maybe even if you work at a warehouse, or you work at Target, or you work at Best Buy, you get competitive, you want the promotion, you want to rise, or you want some position. You want to raise or some position. So that's just part of it for them. He goes on to say, so it's like Charlotte had a difficult time that Becky was starting to become the face of the female wrestling thing. End quote. Becky Lynch would frequently complain to Di about Charlotte being upset at her throughout their feuds on WWE television. This perplexed Di, who assumed the two were taking WWE stories way too seriously. But he says things were more genuine between the two than he initially anticipated. What is y'all's take on this story? Tommaso Ciampa's hip injury bothered him for nearly a year before surgery. Sean Rossap provided a backdrop into Ciampa's injury from behind Fightful's paywall. According to the update, the hip injury had been bothering him for nearly a year before the Raw superstar decided to go under the knife. It says here, and I quote from Fightful, we also asked for an update on Tommaso Ciampa, but weren't given a potential timetable for a return. We're told that his hip injury had been bothering him for nearly a year. End quote. Now, it remains to be seen if Tommaso Ciampa will return to action in 2023. If the Psycho Killer was in a feud with Bobby Lashley over the United States Championship the last time they shared the ring. What is y'all's take on this story? Let me know. Now, we got a little bit of Monday Night Raw news. Monday Night Raw pulls just over 1 million viewers with best of 2022 episode. WWE did not air a live show on the day after Christmas, so their production staff got some time off. It really hurt the ratings to have a best of episode instead. According to WrestleNomics, the December 26th best of 2022 episode of Raw brought in 1.1 million viewers with a .27 in the 18 to 49 demographic. The December 12th episode of Raw brought in an overnight average of 1,472,000 viewers with a .37 in the 18 to 49 demographic. This was Raw's lowest total viewership since July 5th, 2021. The December 5th episode of WWE Raw brought in an overnight average of 1.536 with a rating of .41 in the 18 to 49 demographic. That is all I'm going to give there. Should the Raw ratings pull up, guys? Do you think they are? You think the ratings is going to pull up? So, major news, guys, on the signing. Dragon Lee has signed with WWE. To those of you that are Dragon Lee fans from Mexico, listen up, man, because this is very serious. I'm pretty sure you guys are a huge fan of Dragon Lee. I mean, how would you not be? I mean, he's great. He's one of the greatest high flyers in this generation. One of the greatest high flyers in pro wrestling. Dragon Lee is one of the most prominent names in the independent wrestling scene. He has a vast amount of experience wrestling for some of the top promotions in the world, including Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, AAA, and AEW. His in-ring style and skills have helped him amaze a loyal fan base in the wrestling community. Over the past several weeks, there have been reports that Dragon Lee may be looking to sign with WWE. Now, Sean Rossap Fightful has confirmed through Twitter that Dragon Lee said he has, in fact, signed with WWE during AAA Nochi the Components. Says here, and I quote, Dragon Lee has announced that he signed with WWE, tweeted Sean Rossap, and quote, this announcement will certainly excite many fans who were looking forward to seeing what Lee will become available, or able, should I say, to accomplish in the Stanford-based company. Got to wait and see when he makes his official debut within the company. What's y'all's take on this story? Sasha Banks shares emotional post about her career accomplishments so far. Sasha Banks debuted in WWE NXT back in 2012. In just 3 years, she became a big star there. It only got better from there as Banks went on to become a multi-time women's champion. That is all in the past now, as Banks' time in WWE seems to be done for good after she walked out on an episode of Raw back in May. In fact, Banks even further hinted at her WWE exit with a recent social media post. Sasha Banks got rid of almost all traces of her time in WWE from her social media, and even made a post where she used an AEW hashtag. Among other things, as previously reported, Sasha Banks is set to attend the Wrestle Kingdom 17 event in Tokyo Dome on January 4th, 2023. Right, Wrestle Kingdom 17 watch-along will be scheduled this week. The thumbnail and background will be done this week. This has excited fans to a huge degree in no time. Just like this has my subscribers excited that they'll be in the live chat listening to the Wrestle Kingdom 17 commentary and watching it with me. Now, the boss recently took to her Instagram stories and uploaded an emotional fan message. The post was essentially a thank you message addressed to the boss. With this post, Banks more or less hinted that she is truly done with WWE. Yep, that's true, folks. It says here, and I quote, so I wanted to make a thank you Sasha post, just in case this is the end of the Sasha Banks era. If this is truly the end, at least she left the company and made a huge impact. Made a huge impact on the process. Goes on to say that Sasha Banks is a Grand Slam champion, NXT Women's Champion, 5-time Raw Women's Champion, 3-time Women's Tag Team Champion, holding this in RWC together in 2020, and a former SmackDown Women's Champion. She's a former NXT Women's Champion as well. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Sasha Banks has accomplished so much outside of WWE during her career, but this post is purely on the WWE side. Her outside accomplishments includes starring in the main DeLorean movie, winning an ESPI alongside Bianca Belair, walking the New York Runaway, starring in her first movie. She was starring in her first movie, co-owning a CBD company. She has main event at WrestleMania, which is one of the biggest accomplishments a WWE superstar can ever make. She's competed in 3 Hell in a Cell matches, including first ever one. She was the first entrant in the women's Royal Rumble match, became the first woman tag champs alongside Bayley inside the Elimination Chamber. Competed in Saudi Arabia, first woman to compete alongside Alexa Bliss, first Iron Woman match in NXT. Speaking of NXT, who will ever forget her NXT TakeOver Brooklyn match against her wrestling soulmate Bayley, one of the greatest TakeOver matches of all time. Now, I'm also glad she got the opportunity to win a WrestleMania match alongside Naomi. So glad future people to join the WWE got into wrestling because of Sasha Banks and her matches, because I can assure you, if I ever got into the business, her with Steph are the biggest reasons I got interest in the company. So Sasha Banks, thank you for everything you've done for the WWE, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for you. Thank you, Sasha, end quote. That was from one of her fans, Beauty. WWE recently advertised Sasha Banks for a live event. WWE also didn't consider Sasha Banks a main event level star regardless. We'll have to wait and see how Banks will fare in New Japan Pro Wrestling once she debuts there at WrestleMania, or not WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom 17. Have WrestleMania 39 on my mind. On January the 4th, because you know, that's in April. So. Yeah, this post was from a wrestling fan of Sasha Banks. That post I just read to you guys. Do you think Sasha Banks will ever return to WWE? Sound off in the live chats, please. Dan Winchester fan, how you doing, man? Let me see. What we got coming on next here? All right, guys. Next news we have is on Cody Rhodes. So apparently, Cody Rhodes currently is the favorite to win the 2023 WWE Men's Royal Rumble match. Even I'm rooting for Cody Rhodes to win the Royal Rumble. I'm rooting for Cody Rhodes to win the Royal Rumble. It makes sense for Cody Rhodes to win the Royal Rumble, man. I mean, you have a storyline there with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, man. You know what I'm saying? I think the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns feud will be great. It'll be absolutely great, man. Anyways, so Cody Rhodes is the current favorite to win the 2023 Royal Rumble match. Cody Rhodes returned to WWE earlier this year at WrestleMania 38. Getting my shit wrong now. Here we go. As he had a lot to prove, not only to fans, but to himself. Rhodes ended up having a solid bout with Seth Rollins, cementing his status in WWE after beating the Visionary. Rhodes is currently on the shelf due to an injury, but is likely to return at the Royal Rumble next year. In fact, he is the current favorite to win the Men's Royal Rumble match next year. Cody Rhodes has been absent from Hell in a Cell due to a torn pectoral injury. Rhodes defeated Seth Rollins in a brutal match where he worked the match while being injured. Cody Rhodes already hinted at making his return during the Royal Rumble match next year. According to betting odds provided by Bet Online, Cody Rhodes is the favorite to win the men's Royal Rumble match next year. The women's side, Becky Lynch is the current favorite. For the time being, only the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches are confirmed for the premium live event next year. The Royal Rumble will take place in San Antonio's Stadium on January 28th. So we'll have to see how the premium live event will turn out. Are you guys excited about the 2023 Royal Rumble? Let me know in the comments. WWE 2K preparing for a big announcement very, very soon. WWE 2K is one of the most popular video game franchises in the world. Yes, no doubt about it, it is. The game allows fans to step into the shoes of their favorite wrestlers and play with their friends, basically. Earlier this year, WWE released WWE 2K22 after nearly 2 years, considering 2K20 was a total bust. 2K22 was much better received by the fans. Now, with the new year emerging, talks of a new WWE video game are doing the rounds. Given the fact that WWE usually releases its video games around the same time frame, fans are expecting WWE 2K23 to drop in March of next year. Stronghold Sap reported behind Fightful's paywall that we can expect some WWE 2K updates in January. It says here in that quote, Fightful was told that we could expect some WWE 2K updates in January, rather they the official announcements or anonymously sourced. End quote. 2023 will be a great year to be a wrestling fan, as AEW Fight Forever will also probably release alongside WWE 2K23. Two games will probably go head to head. Hence, it will be interesting to see what changes WWE will be making to its game next year. I can't wait, man. I'm going to be buying both games next year. Now, WWE is not considering big change for Judgment Day stable. Now, Zero News reported that there has been small talk of sending Judgment Day to SmackDown in the draft when it happens. The brands will be heavily switched about, but talks of SmackDown will stay very stable, heavy, as the Bloodlines run is not done yet. Ringside News, my only sources in the wrestling community, reached out to confirm this story. They were told that it is not accurate at this time. There are no plans for the Judgment Day stable to move on. I guess to move, maybe. I don't know about move on, but Ringside News exclusively reported in the past that the WWE draft is an ongoing discussion within the company. Only time will tell what the rosters look like in a year from now. For the time being, Judgment Day is involved in an angle that will likely result in a pitch dark match at the 2023 Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Finn Balor is reportedly bringing the Demon back to face Edge in that encounter. Are you guys a fan of Judgment Day stable? Let me know. Seth Rollins reacts to Sports Illustrated, naming him one Pro Wrestler of 2022. Seth Rollins is undoubtedly one of the biggest stars in WWE of the modern day era. Rollins' ability to captivate the audience with his in-ring talent and evolving personas is unmatched. He recently reacted to a huge milestone achieved for the year 2022. Seth Rollins was immediately recognized as a top prospect from his time in NXT in 2012. Moreover, he was the first member of the Shield to become a world champion and has carved out a Hall of Fame worthy career, winning countless titles and accolades. Drip God seemingly had a successful 2022 with high-profile matches and reclaiming gold after nearly 2 years. Seth Rollins recently responded to Sports Illustrated, naming him number 1 among the top 10 list of best wrestlers of 2022 on his Instagram story. It says here, and I quote from Seth Rollins, "Thanks for the love. An honor to be a part of this list." And quote, Seth Rollins is currently embroiled in a theory. The duo is set to collide on the first Raw in 2023 for the United States Championship. You guys think Seth Rollins will win the United States Championship in 2023? Sound off in the comments, in the live chats, please. I really appreciate it. Monday Night Raw viewership holds just over 1 million viewers with best of 2022 episodes. According to WrestleNomics, the December 26th best of 2022 episode of Raw brought in 1.1 million viewers with a .27 in the 18-49 demographic. The December the 12th episode of Monday Night Raw brought in an overnight average of 1,472,000 views with a .37 to 1849 demographic. This was Raw's lowest total viewership since July 5th, 2021. Triple H hails Dragon Lee's unbelievable WWE signing. So, I don't know why I was thinking I was reading the other article, but I read the wrong one. I was supposed to be reading this one. So Lee himself made the announcement after he and Dralistico beat FTR to win the AAA Tag Team titles on Wednesday's AA Noche de Convenios event. I don't know what that word is. In Mexico, basically. ESPN reported that Lee will start with the company in January, where he will be part of NXT. Triple H took to Twitter and reacted to Dragon Lee's WWE signing as he hailed Lee as an unbelievable athlete and hyped up his impending debut in the company. Says here, and I quote, "An unbelievable athlete who has," and he's just started. The next chapter of Dragon Lee's career begins with NXT. End quote. We'll have to wait and see how Dragon will fare as part of the NXT brand. Lee will be bringing a lot of experience and in-ring expertise to NXT, so the company will certainly benefit from it. What's y'all's take on this story? Let me know. My head is not feeling right. I don't know why. My head feel like it's going to fucking blow to pieces. Now, Alexa Bliss says fake news about her personal life makes her laugh. Huh. If fake news about my personal life would make me laugh too, man. I mean, really? It would. I mean, I don't blame Alexa Bliss for laughing. I would legitimately be laughing too if fake news about my personal life, about somebody making fake news about my personal life, I'd be laughing too, man, for real. That'd be funny. Little Miss Bliss returned to WWE earlier this year following surgery as well as her own marriage. Right after that, Bliss ended up getting involved in numerous feuds, including with Damage Control, Damage Control's Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. The former Raw Women's Champion took to Twitter and revealed that she has been keeping up with all sorts of fake news concerning her. Bliss remarked that all these fake stories make her laugh. Fake news about my personal life would make me laugh. It would. I've said this like 2-3 times already. It would. It legitimately would, though. I'm just saying it to be honest. Says here, and I quote, "The stuff I read on Twitter, people make up about me or where I live or what I'm doing in life makes me laugh." Alexa Bliss is the #1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship. Will be challenging Bianca Belair for the title from the first episode of Monday Night Raw next year. We'll have to see how she will fare in the match. If anything, fans keep throwing out their own personal theories whenever they can. Yeah, fans have a tendency of doing that in the Twitter community, mostly. The Twitter wrestling internet community. They really, really do. No shit. Now, WWE wasn't interested in Dragon Lee until AEW put him on television without a contract. And also, Dragon Lee signed with WWE over AEW despite lower money offers. Now, Dave Meltzer recently discussed the signing of Dragon Lee on the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio. He noted that WWE's interest in Lee sparked when they noticed AEW put him on television without any contract. That was a major catalyst as WWE signed Dragon Lee soon after. It says here, and I quote, WWE's interest in Dragon Lee came when they found out that AEW put this guy on television with no contract. So it was kind of like we can swap in. They came after him after that deal, and right after that, he was signed. But he was signed a couple of weeks back. That was the catalyst of it. It was them finding out that AEW put the guy on television with no deal at all. End quote. Dragon Lee's in-ring style and skills have helped him amaze a loyal fan base in the wrestling community. Over the past several weeks, there have been reports that Dragon Lee may be looking to sign with WWE, which he did. He was part of Rush's faction a few months ago. The announcement certainly excited many fans who are looking forward to see what Lee will be able to accomplish in WWE. And then Dave Meltzer, something else, guys, I wanted to tell you. Dave Meltzer also revealed on the Wrestling Radio that Lee's deal with WWE was done several weeks ago. They were told to stay quiet on the same before making it official that night. So he also spoke about Lee's brief tenure in AEW and claimed that it was time for him to make a move. So it says here, and I quote, the deal was made a couple weeks ago. They were told to keep it quiet and they won't make the announcement. And they won the tag team titles, which is interesting because he pinned an AEW star, which was part of the deal. And Tony Khan was aware of it. I'm sure if this was reserved, that it would have never happened. They're not going to have let one of their guys get pinned by somebody from another company. But the guest of the Japan Pro Wrestling, which was his home and where he wanted to work originally and where he would be working for years, along with CMLL, got rid of him because he worked the PWG Battle of Los Angeles a couple of years ago. So they wanted nothing to do with him because it was unsanctioned with AAA talent. It was further revealed that Dragon Lee was offered a better deal by AEW in terms of money, and gave his take on why he chose to sign with WWE despite that. He goes on to say he was working in Mexico. There is not money in Mexico. He had a tryout with WWE. AEW wanted him as well. He was talking, should I say, to various people. And it's funny because I always see people going for big money, and he is where the money is, and his deal was not. I mean, it's a bigger money deal than Mexico, but it is not any kind of big money deal. I mean, he is getting NXT money. He is not getting main roster money. The situation is that he talked to several people. He was asking several people, a lot of different people, that what's better for me, AEW or WWE? It's funny. A year ago, most of the people would have said AEW for sure, but in fact, they said WWE, and I don't, if they are wrong. Dave Meltzer goes on to say, the one thing is that if you look at the current scene now, if he went to AEW, he would probably go in with probably more money. Not appreciably more money. He would probably be used less. He'd probably get frustrated, as we said. I mean, look at all the people on that roster, and they don't have enough television time. They don't do enough angles on the streaming stuff, end quote. Dragon Lee's arrival in WWE surely has fans excited, of course, to see him compete against their top stars, in particular WWE legend Rey Mysterio. A battle between those two masked superstars would surely be a blockbuster hit at any major show for WWE. Do you think Dragon Lee made a smart decision to sign with WWE over AEW? Honestly, my answer is yes. My answer is yes to that. He made the right decision. Surely, if Bruce and Vince were there, he would have never signed WWE. He would have never signed to WWE if he saw that Vince and Bruce were still there in charge in WWE. Vince and Bruce would never sign Dragon Lee. Never. They would completely bury him. They'd completely use him on TV. 1,000 deaths. Like, really. They would. Well, folks, that's going to do it for your WWE Thursday afternoon news. Now we're going to go over your AEW Thursday afternoon news. We don't have much of it. I only got a few. So, Shawn Spears says he's not going back to AEW anytime soon. I'm now going to go over your AEW Thursday afternoon news, which is on Shawn Spears. My head is just like yada 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 today. I just got through eating, plus I just got through eating onion chips and a ham cheese sandwich. So you got to imagine how my head is feeling right now after that one. I mean, really. I feel like I'm nowhere. My head feels like it's nowhere. Really. But anyways, apparently Shawn Spears says he's not going back to AEW anytime soon. Shawn Spears was known as Ty Dillinger in WWE. For the most part, fans viewed him as a severely underrated WWE superstar. Dillinger had a lot of time, but the company simply didn't know how to use him. In the end, he was released, made his way to AEW almost 3 years ago. Shawn Spears had been absent for a while now, but made it clear that he will not be returning to AEW anytime soon. Previously reported, Casey Lee, Shawn Spears are expecting their first child together. Naturally, fans and pro wrestlers alike celebrated this fact and were very happy for the couple. In fact, this is the reason why he has been absent from AEW television. Spears hasn't been on AEW television since October 13th episode of Rampage, where he and FTR beat the Embassy. One fan jumped on Twitter and commented to say, "Where has Shawn Spears been?" Then Shawn Spears made it clear that he is not going back to AEW anytime soon. "Don't hold your breath, not going there anytime soon," says, and I quote, unquote, from Shawn Spears. We will have to wait and see when Shawn Spears will return to AEW television, as fans are actually starting to miss him now. Till then, fans will just have to wait and hope for the best. Yeah, that's what's ultimately going to happen. They're going to have to wait for the best, man. Just going to have to hope for the best. Now, the identity of Mystery Woman with MJF on AEW Dynamite has been revealed. Let's see if I can find it. There it is. MJF was at the First Bank Center in Brumfield, Colorado for the opening match on Dynamite last night. The AEW World Champion watched the action between Bryan Danielson and Ethan Page from the top of the arena. The Devil himself was with a mystery woman who he introduced her as the only hot chick in Colorado. For those wondering about the identity of the woman, she performs on the Independents under the ring name Daddy Doom. What is y'all's take on this story? Let me know in the live chats. So now you know the identity of the woman. Dragon Lee signed with WWE over AEW Desperate Low Money. I think we already went over that. Yes, we did. We went over that already. Well, folks, I'm getting out of here, man. If you guys enjoyed me giving you guys AEW Thursday afternoon news, please let me know in the comments below when the stream ends. Thank you guys for joining me here for your AEW Year's Smash 2022 review. A good day here in North Carolina. The sun is out. Sky is blue. Starting to warm back up again, finally. Hopefully it's warming back up and where you guys are living at. Where you guys are living too. Hopefully. It's warming back up where you're at. Being outside in the cold is not a good thing at all. I'm telling you right now, don't do it. I did it before, yeah. Almost got frostbites being out there in that cold. Nope, no kidding. I'm not joking. Well, folks, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to go ahead and get ready for work now. In the stream, get ready for work. Hope you guys have a good Thursday, and I will see you guys tomorrow in the live chat for Dragon Ball Z Verse 2. We're going to stream Dragon Ball Z Verse 2 immediately as soon as I get home. Like right as soon as I get home from the barbershop, whenever I wash my hair and stuff. I'll have SmackDown scheduled by then because I'm going to have SmackDown. I'm going to have the SmackDown and Rampage watch along scheduled by tonight when I come home from work. And then I'm going to be working on the Royal Rumble thumbnail background. I have the 2023 Royal Rumble pay-per-view watch along schedule. And then I'll be working on the Wrestle Kingdom 17 thumbnail and background and be scheduling Wrestle Kingdom 17 watch along. Well, guys, I'm getting out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace. Have a good one. Deuces.